Holy fucking shit, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Savage Snowflake podcast, the first ever live installment of the SSP. Good to have you guys rejoining us. Thank you very much for being here. We are doing it live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. We've got a whole load of viewers joining in with us. This is actually part of a 12-hour live stream that I've been doing over the course of today. Obviously, if you're listening to this now back or you're watching the clip on YouTube, then you won't have watched the live stream, I imagine. Or perhaps you will and you're watching this for the second time round. But thank you either way. Yes, I decided everyone was quarantined right now, shitting themselves over the coronavirus, so I wanted to give a little bit of entertainment to the masses and decided what's the best and most lunatic way to do that? A 12-hour live stream. So we're currently 3 hours of the way through. Joining me today, I'm very excited, is an incredibly talented chap. Now, I actually, without even knowing it was him, I actually saw this guy a few years ago on Venice Beach, freestyle rapping for people as they were walking along the boardwalk, and he started off with a couple of people I was watching going, this guy's fucking amazing, and then suddenly people started collecting. Eventually he had a crowd of like 150 people crowded around him. He's blown up since then on YouTube. His freestyle raps, he's appeared on tons of different, you know, eclectic radio shows, more the hip-hop specific ones. He's rapped in front of legends like Kendrick Lamar. It's Mr. Harry Mack, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Harry. How are you, brother?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank
I'll
you
give
so
you a
much
round of applause.
Yeah.
There we go. Even got one of those, seeing as I have the sound machine at my disposal today for the 12-hour live stream. It's good to have you on board, brother. I mean, first of all, did you do that Venice Beach freestyle rapping often, or was I lucky enough just to see like a one-off?
So it depends on when you saw it. This was like a few years ago, probably, when you saw me, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It was before I even moved to America. I don't think I lived here yet. I was just on a holiday visiting.
That's amazing. So that was probably basically the one and only time that we were there doing that for that year. Because we went there with the express purpose of making some video content for YouTube.
Right.
So a lot of people saw the video of me, you know, doing street performances in Venice and assumed that I was like a regular on the Venice Strip. Because there are lots of street performers who, you know, show up and perform on the Venice Strip regularly.
Absolutely. That's how they make their living, man. Yeah, a load of the guys
totally
make their living that way.
Totally. So, yeah, but in my case, I was just going there. We went there for a full day, me and some of my best friends, and you know, they were filming me on their iPhones and stuff, and we were just trying to see if we could make some noise down there and create some cool content for YouTube.
Dude, it's amazing. I mean, obviously, since then, the career has only spiraled in an upwards direction.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying as well, I'm not likening you to each other, although the music and the improvisational element to it certainly is, you know, is something that you both have. But
right.
Mark Rabier as well. I don't know if you're aware of Mark. I mean,
oh yeah,
the
I'm
two of you.
fan.
Well, there you go. The two of you guys have kind of done this very, very unique thing that, you know, is creating improvised music based on your live audience's responses, but
right.
doing it to a level of professionalism that I think is, you know, is quite unique.
Yes, totally, man. No, thanks for mentioning that. I'm a huge fan of Mark Rebier and everything that he's doing. And yeah, you know, that was always kind of my goal is I love improv in general. I just love the energy of live improvisation. But, you know, I didn't want to do it in a way where it was like, well, it's okay for improv. You know, I wanted to try to do it at a level where it was like, no, this is really great, period. And it just elevates it that much further to know that it was actually made up on the spot.
Well, that leads me into my next question then, which is, were you a rap fan from childhood? Are you like, I was a rap fan who then got into the art of improv and freestyling like that, and now this is what I do? Or was it more a case of, I love the idea of creating music in an improvisational style, and hey, rap lends itself to that, and now that I'm getting all this attention, all this interest, I really should develop my skills as a rap artist, you know?
Right. Yeah, for me, no, it definitely started with a love for hip hop music. I basically found out about, you know, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, so there wasn't like a lot of hip hop happening all around me in the city I was from. But when I was probably in third grade or so, my older sister told me, hey, you should listen to Jammin' 95.5, which was the hip hop station in Portland at the time. And
yeah.
She basically said, all of us are listening to that. That's what the cool kids are listening to. She was my older sister. So I was like, all right, I'm doing that, you know,
right.
Started listening to rap radio. And, you know, this was like late 90s, early 2000s. And you know, so I was hearing a lot of, like, at the time it was like Fabulous and Nelly was huge, Ja Rule and Ashanti, and also, you know, some legends, Nas, Jay-Z were obviously big, Eminem, Snoop, all of that stuff, and just fell in love with the music. And you know, my best friends all fell in love with it too, all around the same time. And so we were just obsessed with hip hop. And starting way back in 6th grade, you know, my friend Brady actually got like a starter set of turntables for Christmas. And we had like a cheap $20 Radio Shack mic, and we would just go kick it at his house like almost every day after school, and plug the mic in and try to do our little raps and start freestyling. And you know, we were terrible at it, but
well, that's the level that I'm at currently. I'm still terrible at it, but I drive around my car. I literally have a playlist on Spotify, and it's called 4 Bars, and it's just fucking, you know, for bars. It's just for like freestyling, rapping in traffic and when I'm driving around. And I got about 300 fucking songs in there now, and they're all, you know, all instrumentals.
Yes, I love it, man. That's where it starts, straight up. Like, you know, people will see my videos now and be like, man, how does it feel, you know, to be born with this incredible gift? And I'm like, man, I wouldn't know how that feels, because I wasn't born with an ability to freestyle. We were just messing around and having fun as kids because we loved hip hop so much. We wanted to try to contribute somehow. You know, it just grew from there.
Right. I also know that you create your own music. It's not just, I don't want to paint it like you're only doing these improvised freestyle raps, or, you know, people showing you items and you rap about them straight off the cuff. And also, but there is a bit of a formulaic nature to improv rap that I've seen, certainly with yourself and with other people who've really dominated in the area, which is like, if someone holds something up, you know, you put that as your second line. So you know that like, can or Red Bull is going to be the ending punch. So it's like, well, what do I put that rhymes with that before? You know what I mean? So it'd be like, I'm checking out this girl, hoping I can pull, maybe go to the bar, buy a can of Red Bull. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you like flip it the other way around. Whereas sometimes when I'm trying to improvise, I completely fuck that up, and I just try and lay out the first punch, or lay out the first tag at the end of the line, and it fucks you up. How did you did you learn that from someone, your way of doing it, or was this just something that naturally over time you went, actually there is quite a scientific nature to creation of improv rap?
Yeah, that's a great question, and also a great observation. That's totally the answer. Is I call it the setup punchline technique,
or punchline setup.
Yeah, right. Because it's like, you know, like you say, rather than being reactionary where somebody holds up a Red Bull, you know, a lot of times when you're first starting out, that's what will happen, is it's very reactionary. Somebody holds up a Red Bull and you're like, yo, he's got the Red Bull and I'm out here spitting from the soul. I'm just trying to keep control. And you kind of go off from there and just sort of free associate with rhymes. I call that the free flowing approach.
Which is really fucking hard. That's really fucking hard.
It's really hard. It's really hard. And it can be really dope. You know, there are people who have become really comfortable in that sort of free-flowing space and are really good at making that work. But a lot of times what I'm doing, I use a little bit of the free-flowing approach at times, but most of the time, as you've noticed, especially if I'm doing like a visual freestyle based on objects and things, I am using this sort of setup punchline where I'm storing Red Bull as a target word, and I'm aiming for that, but first I'm going to set it up with something that rhymes with it so I can really hit hard on the target. I'm
going to spit so hard, I got to wet this fool.
Yes.
Just like a spray can filled with Red Bull or some shit like that, yeah.
Exactly. And that's super powerful.
Do you like how I'm looking for validation from you already? Yes. Just like, was that okay? Am I hip-hop now? Am I a gangster?
Right, bro. You get my approval. You get my approval so far. I haven't heard a lot, but from what I've heard, you're on the right track, man.
Well, you know what? I'm definitely don't have the talent that you have. No. I honestly, because I've watched it, and as much as I like the idea of writing some rap music with some produced buddies of mine, I know that I don't have the rap talent that you have, that natural inherent. You've been doing this for years to develop, you know, just the way, the flow of your lyrics and that come out of you. But what I am is a good improv comedy actor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just coming up with a rhyme is easy for me. But making it make as much sense, or giving it the added level of depth. And this is what I think separates you from, you know, I started with the question about, is this a formulaic thing and a scientific approach to it, which it clearly is in one respect. There's also another part to it, which is you can be formulaic and scientific, but then you have to have the depth of imagination and metaphorical ability
Right.
to make it clever and really go, oh, holy shit, he led me down the wrong path and then flipped it for that punchline.
Yes, 100%. It's, there's the technique, the formulaic part, like you mentioned, and, that's what you practice, and I spent years practicing that, just trying to figure out how to do a setup punchline thing. And going back to what you had asked of where I got that from, it totally came from checking out great lyrical improvisers. The first one I was exposed to was actually Wayne Brady on Whose Line Is It Anyway, who would do, improvised songs on the show. And that blew my mind.
He went on Sway's Universe. He went on Sway in the Morning, did like Five Fingers of Death or whatever. Yeah, it was good, but he was very much, look, even that, you could see there was an improv actor rapping.
Yes, totally.
It didn't have it didn't have the swagger and the flow as much, you know what I mean? It was more formulaic and like.
Yeah, he's coming at it from the improv comedy world, but still doing a great job applying it to hip hop. And sure. I think I'm coming at it from the hip hop world. And so, I can learn things from him about the improvisational spirit and sort of bring that back into a rap space. So we're kind of coming at it from different angles, which gives us our uniqueness. But he's phenomenal and definitely, lit my brain up when I first discovered him. And then I, discovered MC Supernatural, who's an incredible freestyle MC in the hip hop space. Through him, learned about this guy named Juice, who's a phenomenal freestyler. And then I learned about King Los and just kept expanding my universe. And I noticed that a lot of times when they were rapping, they were using this technique of this setup punchline. And, when it dawned on me, it kind of opened my eyes like, okay, now I know what I need to practice.
Have I given away the secret? Is that what I've done now?
No, I mean, yes, but go for it. I actually
yes, but also fuck you, Leach. Yeah.
No, it's great. Some people have said that to me because I teach as well, and I have like freestyle students, and we work on these techniques and stuff. And some of my friends will be like, "Man, are you sure you want to give that away?" It's kind of like the magician teaching everyone his trick. Now the trick loses some of its value, but I really don't see it that way because even when I discovered the technique, it still took years of practice to be able to execute it. There you go.
And also, your level of vocabulary has to be so developed.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a question that every, a rapper or anyone who's, actually making serious music in the world of hip hop and rap, which you do alongside your freestyle rapping as well, is going to get asked. What brought you into this music, which is predominantly of black culture? How did you discover it? What was the upbringing? What was the lifestyle there? Was this something from a young age?
Yeah, 100%. It hit me at a young age, and I don't know what exactly it was about the music that spoke to me so strongly, but from the first second I heard it, there's something very physical about the hip hop beat. It's so rhythmic and there's so much bass and low end, which just rattles your insides, and just these hardcore, gritty, smacking beats that just gave me a feeling, in the beginning. I think it was that simple. It was just, when I felt that beat, I literally felt something and I loved it and became obsessed. And from there, getting into the lyrics and understanding, the MCing side of it. But I think at first it was just
what was the upbringing though? Where did you come from? I mean, was hip hop part of your your local culture, or was this really something that was a little bit unique to a white kid in Oregon?
It was definitely unique to a white kid in Oregon, 100%. I mean, like, growing up in Portland, Oregon, hip hop is not a huge part of the culture. There's not a big hip hop scene there.
It's more folk music, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of indie rock. Indie rock,
yeah. Chuck Taylors and emo fringes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely more of a rock city traditionally. There's some hip hop stuff popping for sure, but you got to dig a little deeper to find it. So it was kind of different, but me and my friends were so into it that like my personal culture was all about hip hop, as far as like me and my homies, that's all we were listening to and talking about and all we wanted to learn about. So we kind of created our own bubble where we were really immersed in hip hop culture and just wishing we could be closer to it physically.
I do think that the sphere is changing, like the musical sphere from the world of hip hop and rap. That if you step up, like, look, you look at like, so obviously Eminem would be one of the major first players or purveyors of that, but he came from a place where he very much grew up in a neighborhood that was predominantly black, as far as I know, and he was very much on the poverty line, and the things he was rapping about, he was
Right.
living,
Right.
which and then Little Dicky as a more recent, you know, kind of counterpart to yourself or peer, I guess, in the
Sure.
industry. You know,
Yeah.
he again very much like when, all right, I'm going to earn my respect by being good at what I do, but
Right.
I'm never going to lie and say I'm from the fucking ghetto and blah, blah, blah. I'm going
Right.
to rap about having, you know, a little dick or wanting to live out my fantasies through this rap persona. And that's been successful. Where are you placed amongst that thing? You know, was this a cushy life growing up in Oregon? It's like, I just love the music, or was it, you know, were you living on the hard streets of Portland?
Oh, no, no, no. I wasn't living on the hard streets of Portland.
Are there any hard streets in Portland?
I was gonna say the hardest streets of Portland are not nearly as hard as the hard streets of LA or any other major city in the US. Portland is it's a very white city overall, just demographically, and you know, it's not really like that. And I grew up middle class, you know, in a middle class white family in Portland, Oregon. So I don't have a hard story or anything like that. And just like Lil Dicky, who you mentioned, I would never claim to have a hard story. I think people get it confused and think that because so many of the greats, you know, have that background and that was their story. You know, you look at Biggie, you look at, you know, Nas, Jay-Z, the rags to riches, you know, coming up in the slums and making millions. That's sort of like your, you know,
or even the ones who didn't make millions and sort of coming out, you know, like Mobb Deep back in the day. That was that was the first rap album I ever got when I was 14 years old.
Oh, no,
Murder Music.
That's a great place to start, man. Mobb Deep is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, to me, it's not about the hard lifestyle necessarily. That could be your story, but what it's really about is authenticity. And I think that's why Lil Dicky is respected, you know, with his story, is because he's authentic to himself. He's not making up a false narrative to try to become popular. He's telling his story.
Right.
I think especially now with hip hop being so global, it really is the most popular music in the world. There's room for every voice now. You know, it's not so narrow-minded where, okay, this is the narrative of hip hop. This is what we want. It's like everyone can participate, but what's important is that you're not a fraud. You know,
right. Yeah.
Authentically.
Talk about the life you've led, and you can still rap. I mean, look, rap music like when I was a kid, I was very much like the kids in your hometown in terms of punk and rock music and stuff like that. But we listened to punk, rock, and hip hop. That was it, because it was all rebellious and sort of working class background. You're a little bit like, fuck the world, no one cares about us, and you know. But it was that very much like gave me an outlet for that frustration and rage. But it, you know, I know that when I was a kid, I very much tried to act with a different kind of swagger to match the musical stylings, because I knew I wasn't, as much as I came from a very working class, rough area. I wasn't, you know, eating beans out of a can every day, and I didn't no one pulled a gun on me, just knives. It was knives in London, you know what I mean? So I was like very low down on the gangster list, you know what I mean?
Right.
But now as an adult, I think it's I think surely what gets you, I guess, ranked and respected within your industry is turning up like you did on that day in front of, you know, Kendrick Lamar, for instance, one of your heroes and probably one of the most successful members of the hip hop rap community.
Yes.
And deeply respected. And stepping up and showing that you had the fucking chops to deliver bars in front of him and do it well.
Right. Yeah, man. I think, you know, thank you for saying that, by the way. That was a huge day for me, obviously.
I could see it. I could see at the beginning you were shitting your fucking pants. It was beautiful.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I was terrified. I mean, I found out morning of that was going to happen. So I had no time to mentally prepare or anything like that, which is probably for the best, you know, because I probably
would have overthought it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was an incredible moment, and shout out to Jay Cruz and all of them for thinking of me and giving me the call and letting me do that. And shout out to Kendrick and his whole camp for letting me do that. It was amazing. And, you know, I do think that, you know, for me, kind of my MO is having the skill set speak for itself, you know, letting the skills sort of be undeniable. And, you know, my background is as a drummer. I'm a jazz drummer as well, and gigged as a jazz drummer for years. And one of my first drum teachers in Portland, Oregon told me, you know, don't tell people you're good. Just show people what you do. And if you're good, it will be undeniable and it will speak for itself. And that's kind of where I come from is, so many rappers are just always posturing and flexing, like when they're in interviews and, you know, I'm the shit. I do that while I'm rapping, but, you know, I don't feel the need to always be aggressively trying to convince somebody I'm dope. All I have to do, put a beat on and I'll rap and let the skills speak for themselves. And that's kind of how I try to approach it.
Beautiful. That's the way
Yeah.
it should be done.
I,
How much do you suffer from that that kind of, I guess, you know, in a music genre that is dominated by people of color as well, and it's a little bit harder to break out as a white artist, or to be, or not necessarily to break out, but to be respected as a good rapper in the rap community as a white guy, especially from a middle class background in Portland, Oregon.
Right.
How much do you feel like you have to constantly go, hey, listen, fuck it, I've got the goods? Like, does it ever get a little frustrating?
Not really. It doesn't get frustrating because I like lyrical rap. You know, I like rap that displays the skill set, you know, at a high level. I'm just a fan of that type of music. So I'm not like the type of MC where I'm like, oh, I wish I could just like say some bullshit and still get props. You know, I'm like, no, every time I step up to the mic, I want to crush it. You know, I want to.
But what about like before you even get a chance to get behind that mic? I'm sure as soon as you walk into the studio, people go, oh, look at this white boy over here going to do this fucking thing. Did you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, definitely you get some of that. You know, it's I think you know, that's part of the territory of being a white person in black music, you know, and hip hop obviously is black music. It was invented by black people. And to this day, you know, it's predominantly run by black people, and the top artists are black people. So for me, I feel fortunate to be able to participate. And, you know, of course, I'm trying to participate in a positive way. And, you know, I acknowledge the fact that I'm sort of a guest in the house of hip hop, you know.
There you go.
So,
that's like someone. That's a bit like you know, like Marlon Craft, who's one of my favorite.
Yes.
I mean, I think that guy. He's New York as fuck. First of all, so it takes me back. You know that Shook Ones cover he did, where he used the Shook Ones beat. That's kind of what blew him up, I think, on YouTube. Certainly,
right. It's all the basketball teams, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No. The Shook Ones beat where he's rapping about basically Marlon Craft. I mean, I think he was 17 or something at the time.
Yeah.
Put up this video, or maybe 19. He was a young guy anyway.
Yeah.
Put up this video, him rapping over Shook Ones, but very much about when you just made a very interesting comment saying as a guest in this musical community, as it were.
Right.
And that's really, I think, the approach he maybe had, which is I'm deeply entrenched in hip hop music. You know, my friends are people of all color, and I've got, you know, a number of very close black friends who love hip hop and integrates me into that world. He lives in New York. He's definitely, you know, he's from Hell's Kitchen, I believe. So he's not necessarily the worst area, but it could be a bad area of Hell's Kitchen. He's lived a bit of the life. But when he raps, he doesn't jump on and just be like, oh, yeah, I'm fucking this and I'm fucking that. It's more just going, hey, you know, if I pulled a fucking Starburst out of my pocket, you know, the cops are not gonna pull a gun on me. Whereas if I was a black kid, I'd get 2 in the head. He raps about the shit him and his friends are experiencing and very much pays respect to that community.
Yeah.
Is that something that transfers for you, your music as well, your own personal stuff?
Definitely. I mean, I respect that approach. I think that's the only approach to take personally as a white artist in hip hop. You know, I heard Murs say something interesting on I think it was on Kweli's podcast, The People's Party, but he was talking about how you know, it's hard for white rappers in hip hop in the beginning. You know, you show up to the battle, you show up to the cypher, and everyone's like, oh, okay, white boy, you know what, you know, they judge you for being a white person in hip hop. And but he mentioned that once it's harder for the rocket ship to get off the ground, but once it's off the ground, it's easy for it to fly.
There you go.
Know, it's a lot easier for it to take off. And I think that's part of what Marlon is mentioning is that, you know, to me, it's okay if it's harder for me as a white person in hip hop, because in American society, sadly, it's a lot easier for me in almost every other regard. You know what I mean? And so, like, for me, okay, that's a small price to pay that I'll show up to a club and people are going to judge me and taunt me at first. Whatever. I can take that, you know, because a lot of people who don't look like me have it a lot worse on a daily basis.
I had the same thing as an actor. You know, I get sometimes, you know, you'll know you're perfect for a role, or the casting comes out and it says, actually, we're recasting this for more diverse characters, which is the polite liberal way for, you know, entertainment in Hollywood to say basically we want a black guy, you know, rather than another white dude, and that's made it incredibly difficult to you know, to get roles. There's a lot more roles now for people of color than there are for white people in Hollywood generally. But every time I feel myself even getting like a little niggling feeling of, oh, isn't it so hard for me? And I go, yeah, but every time I go into Ralph's, no one follows me around. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If I call a police officer a piece of shit, I'm not gonna die. You know what I mean? Generally.
100%, 100%. It's real. It's important to keep that perspective, I think.
Yeah. It's good to have that reminder. We got a couple of people in chat here, a couple of Portland, Oregon locals. In fact, Seth Thompson, my buddy, and Jay Schoen both worked at the Abercrombie and Fitch in Portland, and they used to be outside with their shirt off. Did you ever have a picture taken with them with their shirts off outside Abercrombie?
No, I never had that opportunity.
Dude, they were out there basically what you were doing down at Venice. They were doing it, but with less verbiage and more tittage.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, respect.
Beautiful men, just beautiful men. Shout out to Mers, Atmosphere, and Rhyme Sayers. There we go. Okay, so obviously we're going to get you to. I want to save some raps for the end of it. I want to know a little bit more about what's been progressing over the last few months for you, because it feels like, at least as an outsider's perspective, I'm sure it's been years of work, but from an outsider's perspective, it feels like in the last year or so, you've had a number of large things pop off. You've had this, going on the radio show and being able to do those freestyles for so many big artists has really launched you. Are you now redesigning the career around that success and going, okay, right now I need to do this, or now I should really be releasing an album, now I should be going on a world tour, whatever,
Yeah. Oh, totally, man. Yeah, it's been an interesting trajectory, because in the beginning, I was just trying to basically create video content for YouTube in the hopes of going viral, and see what I was doing. It's like you're just trying to get seen. And, we got lucky it was in February 2017, which is probably the day that you were out there seeing us.
Yeah.
We had one that went viral, the Venice Beach freestyle video that I made back in 2017. And that led to the opportunities you mentioned, going on the radio station and getting to meet Joey Badass and getting to meet Kendrick Lamar. And, I got to be on the Ellen show, and, I was in a Mitsubishi commercial, and it was a big wave of momentum that came all of a sudden. Which was great, obviously, and gave me a platform, and it's really, really exciting. But it's also crazy trying to navigate that, because you go from nobody knows who you are. You're just out there on the beach with your boys trying to shoot some video content, pissing people off and having people say, get away from here, put the camera down, whatever. So all of a sudden people from the outside world seeing you on those platforms and being like, oh, this guy made it, he's good, he's on. And in reality, that's not the case.
You rap a lot. Actually, you mentioned in your raps a lot, even in the freestyles, how, going, I'm not making mad bank. I'm not making crazy money right now. I want to get there, but I think people assume if you start getting a few 100,000 views on every video, or even millions of views on every video, suddenly you're a multimillionaire on YouTube, which is
which couldn't be further from the truth, right? As content creators for YouTube, anyone will tell you, you have to have a massive amount of viewership consistently in order to make even a decent income off of YouTube alone. But I can't blame people for seeing it that way, because I was them. I remember seeing freestyle videos on YouTube and seeing people go on Sway and just being like, damn, that guy's famous.
Exactly.
That guy's probably living the life.
Or even someone like Mack Lethal. What do you think about Mack Lethal? Because he must actually make some pretty serious bank, I think, through his YouTube videos now.
Right. I mean, he's great. I think he's super, super talented. And he crushes it on YouTube. So, hats off to him. He's obviously doing it right. And he's at the level of viewership where he's probably seeing a decent bag just from the views. But
very few and far between the numbers of people in terms of, rappers on the platform who are making that kind of money.
Right. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I learned from going viral and having these experiences, is that the way it looks is a lot different from the way it actually is most of the time.
Right.
And perception is crazy. The way that people perceive your success versus where you're actually at, like from a monetary standpoint, there's often a big gap between those two worlds. So, but definitely, man, I've been, from the beginning, trying to figure out how to navigate and what the best move is. I really wanted to get a project out, so I grinded really hard and kind of took some time off the content creation side of things so that I could be in the lab writing and recording, and drop my debut EP last year, which was a huge accomplishment for me. And I'm working on a new project now, and in order to make it as an independent artist, you kind of have to be.
Well, hang on, you got to plug the EP first of all. You got to tell people what it is.
Yeah, Content's Under Pressure. Yeah, that's the name of the EP. 8 tracks. It's available everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that stuff.
There we go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, mostly produced by me. Also production from my man Gabe Steiner, a.k.a. Bubs, Sam Barsh, and Casper and B. But I did a lot of the beats. So.
I don't even think those are rap producers. I think those are just your buddies from college. Those sound like
Yeah.
college names. You know, John Steiner, aka Bubs, Big Fiddly, Old Lanky Toes McGee. Yeah, we were in the studio together. That's just you and your boys getting together and singing some Miller Lights. I know it.
That's hilarious. Two of them are just my friends from college, but
I
they
knew it. I knew it.
They're professional producers now, though,
Okay,
so they really are doing it. But yeah, they're both, you know.
And so I mean, did that success or viral success, whilst it might not result in, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars floating into your bank account overnight, has it given you an audience globally where you now know, okay, I can go and do a show in London and I know it's going to sell, or I can go and do a show across this, you know, across the coast, the other coast?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's given me a fan base, which is invaluable. You know, I mean, that's so important to succeeding as an artist, is having real fans who are following your moves and who care about you and will buy those tickets when you show up and do a show. You know, last May I did my first headlining tour, just a mini tour in the U.S. We hit up Chicago, Brooklyn, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, and we did L.A. And you know, 3 out of the 5 shows were sold out or nearly sold out. And 2 of the shows were pretty small. There was, you know, a lot of space still yet to fill, but it was dope just to get outside of LA and see, like, wow, you know, this many people actually bought tickets, remembered to get up off the couch, show up to the concert. You know, they spent real money to be here and to support. They bought merch. And that was super exciting, man. Even though, you know, we're starting small, it's just amazing to see that there are real fans in the world who care about what you're doing and are following my progression.
What would be the next no, actually not the next, what would be the ultimate, I guess, goal? Like where would you like to, not that you're never going to stop developing as an individual or as an artist, but there must be something, oh yeah, if I do that, I can sit back and feel pretty content about what peak I've reached.
I think, like, you know, if I played like the Hollywood Bowl or something like that.
Oh wow, okay, nice.
Yeah. If I could do like a show on that caliber and have it be packed and, you know, everybody with the phones up and the shining lights, that would be dope, man. That's kind of the dream, you know. Like, I think when a lot of us touring musicians or you know, working musicians close our eyes and imagine it, it's something like the Hollywood Bowl, you know, something big scale like that.
Oh yeah, for me it's like selling out Madison Square Gardens, doing stand up at Madison Square Garden. Although neither of us is going to be doing either of those fucking things right now, because if you get more than 50 people together, you get slapped in cuffs. I mean, as a you know, a content creator, I'm sure there's some stuff you can do at home, but also a lot of what you do relies on human interaction. Totally. And how have you found the old virus to affect your own, you know, your business and your creative output?
Yeah, luckily, we batched a lot of like footage. Like, we got a lot of footage for my Gorilla Bars series, is what we call it now, which is where we go out in the world and freestyle for strangers. And so we shot a lot of stuff for Gorilla Bars right before this thing kind of happened. So luckily, I'm like sitting on a decent amount of footage. Still not enough to get me much further than maybe a month or 2, you know, at best. But you know, I'm still able to put out a few more videos. After that, though, I don't know what's going to happen with that part of my brand, because so much of what makes those videos viral is the human interaction and seeing people's reactions to my rapping. Right. You know, and you can really sense through the screen that they're genuine reactions, that they're not actors.
I have an idea. I have an idea for you.
Yeah. What do you got?
You could do a broadcast onto YouTube from your phone. So you can actually plug your phone in and have the image uploaded to a live stream. Right. Broadcast on YouTube a live stream of an Instagram live video. And you could do these in 1 hour bursts over time. And then you can invite people into the chat or into the video as you're rapping, and they can throw some words or hold up objects and you can bring them in and out. Something like that. I mean,
that's it. That's what I was thinking about, was either that or you know, using FaceTime or something like that. But Instagram's good because I don't have to give out my number or call people.
Exactly.
Or anything.
Yeah, you can keep it safe. And also, if someone's acting like an asshole or whatever, you just fucking drop the call. You know, drop them.
Yes.
I mean, but it's an interesting time for content creators and for freelancers of any kind, especially entertainers to make money. Like, I've had all my shows cancelled now until June. Until June.
Sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like a European tour cancelled. It's like hosting a big event in Europe that's been done. Load of stand up in Vegas and Long Beach. All of these things. And I mean, how do How do you envisage, you know, because neither of us are crazy wealthy guys yet, you know,
Right.
I'm sure we've both had periods of success and periods, you know, peaks and troughs.
Sure. Yeah.
But how do you envisage yourself kind of navigating that as a creative and as someone who's an artist when there is no real work out there?
Yeah, man. I don't know. You know,
I don't know. I'm fucked.
Yeah, all of us are gonna have to kind of try to figure it out. But I do think the live streaming thing, like what we're doing now, is gonna be huge. And it's kind of interesting because I started doing a weekly live stream back in October. It's called Wordplay Wednesday on my YouTube channel, and I just turned it on one day and started streaming. You know, freestyling off the live chat. People are typing in words, just like we're gonna do in a bit here. But
yeah.
You know, I didn't even realize that it was monetized.
My buddy does that on Twitch, actually. A guy, No One, MC No One.
Okay.
He used to do that on Twitch. He does a little bit more IRL streaming now, you know, traveling around the world. But he used to, yeah, he'd have everyone in the chat would just put words and he just boom, boom, boom as they roll out. Just keep...
Oh, it's perfect for any kind of improv. You know, it makes so much sense. But I didn't realize that people were able to tip and just kind of throw money at you while you're doing it. So that's been kind of big for me. I've built that to a point. It was very small when I first started. People would just throw a couple bucks here and there.
Yeah.
But now it's at a point where people are kind of donating consistently throughout the stream. So if I'm live for an hour or two, you know, you're collecting donations the whole time. Some big, some small.
Yeah.
But it's
you
basically
end up paying rent, right?
What's that?
It's like, yeah, like live crowdfunding. You can pay rent at the end of those streams sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's a little weird, you know, to get comfortable with at first. I was like, well, what am I doing? You know, it makes you feel like a stripper or something. Not wrong with that.
I mean, there are websites for that as well. You can start an OnlyFans page. Just
Exactly. I felt like a cam girl or something at first, which
HarryMaxFeet.com. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, if I can show my feet and get paid, more power to anyone who can show their feet and get paid. I think that's amazing. But yeah, so I think that'll be really big, you know, is basically virtual concerts. And it's cool, you know, it's never going to be as cool as the Hollywood Bowl or Madison Square Garden, you know, but hopefully we can get back to doing those kind of shows before too long. But I think nobody knows what's going to happen going forward here. So we're all together.
It is a little bit worrying. I got some questions here actually from. Oh, well, I've almost removed you from the thing. Let me not do that. This is why we do live. This is live editing. See, live editing. Excuse me for a second. Let me get this. Okay, there we go. Oh no, I'm fucking it up. I'm making you big. I'm making you small. There we go. I'll put you back in the middle. All right. So we got some listener questions. Basically, people who are patrons on the site will send in questions that they want to ask different guests. Here we go. So James Gaps wanted to ask. Well, this question is about social media, and I think it sort of ties to what we've just been talking about in terms of that human interaction. He says that social media seems to be a good indication of the combative nature of humanity. And he feels that social media is a brutal pit of hatred and despair for the most part because people don't have a big enemy to target their hatred and fear towards. He's wondering, do we need some kind of big enemy like we've had in the past when in periods of, you know, international conflict or even right now, the kind of shit that Trump's trying to peddle, that, you know, the Chinese virus. He keeps calling it the Chinese infection, the Chinese virus. It's like, I mean, it existed in various forms prior to its evolution in China to humans all around the world. But do we need a big bad to direct our energy towards, or is it simply in human nature to hate?
That's a great question. That's
kind of a depressing question as well. Because the answer might be yes, we love hating on each other. I mean, to a degree we do, right? I mean, like everyone has you know gotten together with friends and then it's turned into a gossip fest where you're kind of talking shit about people. We're very vain. Humans are very vain. We're the only creatures who need mirrors to constantly be checking our you know. Yeah. I think it's unhealthy, you know. But I think it is very human to put other people down so that you can feel a little better about your own existence. You know, I mean, I think that's what a lot of reality TV is like people will say, I know it's stupid, but I still love watching it. And I think some of that comes from, some of it is just sheerly entertaining to see people kind of self-destruct on TV. But some of it is also like, that makes you feel more in control of your life. Absolutely. You're like, why do we revel in that? Why do you think we revel? Because I'll be honest with you. I have to constantly, the kind of growth I'm trying to do as an individual
Yeah.
On a, not a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, I might see something or read something or whatever and just be like, oh God, that's such bullshit. Or it's
Right.
such industry, industry fucking facade, it's all very two-faced, but whatever it is. And rather than just going like, hey, good for them, get on with it. Someone's doing something good, great. I have to catch myself and go, listen, if you remotely put any energy into hating this thing, you're only doing a disservice to yourself and the kind of person you should be.
Yes.
But there is a human desire in a lot of people, I think, to kind of shit on other people.
Oh yeah, 100%. Look, man, I have to deal with it too. I also, am at a point in my life where I'm starting to notice the negativity more. When that voice comes up in my head of, oh, like, screw that person, like they're faking it, they don't deserve all. It's like, whoa, it's not good. And trying to at least recognize it, take a step back from it and say, hey, let that go, when I have a success, I'm gonna hope that people who see it applaud it and are happy for me in a genuine way. But I can't.
There'll still be a Reddit forum where they won't.
Of course, and it is what it is, it's
going to be called reddit.com/r/Harry Whack.
Yes. Look, people have called me that already. So what can I say?
Fuck those people.
Yeah. What can you do? I try not to reply to the negative comments. I used to always reply and say something really smart. And then I realized, the person who said that is not going to learn from my reply that they should be a better person. I'm not going to get through to that person. If you're taking the time to sit there and type negative comments on somebody else's content, something that they feel proud of and had a good time making, and you're going to sit back and say, this is bullshit. There's no way that I'm going to get through to that person. So I
disagree there, man. I feel like there's an element of, yes, is this just wasted energy and it's impossible to get through? It's someone who is already in that mindset of wanting to shoot down everyone else's creative process because they maybe wish they could do that themselves or whatever. There's also another element that I think if you can, the comeback that most people have, like if I get heckled on stage, which very rarely happens, and it's normally a drunk cunt, late at night. But if that does happen, I go like, they're doing this from a place of insecurity, and the most cutting and honest thing that might change them, might possibly just in a small way, is to go so deep with the honesty of why they're doing that, that it kind of breaks them a little bit. And I know that's a dangerous line to walk, but rather than being like, or flip it on them. Like, if someone's fucking me up, when I'm at the Comedy Cellar, arguably the best comedy venue in fucking America, and when I'm performing on that stage with like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock and people like that, my heroes, and someone fucking talks during my set, I will go at them with an approach of, listen, I get it. I get it. You go through life, no one gives a fuck. You've always been able to say what you want. You're beautiful. You're talented. You got all these things going for you. I literally have this going for me. This is the thing I live to fucking do. I have 15 minutes to validate my shit existence. And you're ruining that now. And that will crush me. Why do you want to hurt me so much? And often that brings people to a place of like, they almost go like, well, I mean, I was just trying to be, but you almost have to slap that shit into them,
Yeah. That's good. No, you know what? You're right. I mean, sometimes you gotta tell people the truth.
But you think 9 times out of 10, it's an 11-year-old who's just going to go, oh, shut up, cuck.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, they've already decided they don't fuck with me and they want an argument, And no matter what I say, they'll find a way to shit on that. And then suddenly I'm wrapped up in this negativity I don't really have time for. So I don't know. I think the easiest thing for me is to just make a hard rule, because in general, I'm kind of like, trying to keep everything outside of the music making simple. So I'm like, okay, if I just decide negative comments get ignored 100% of the time, it's easier for me to navigate. But I'm human. So there's times where something rubs me the wrong way and I reply, or something really, it's always the comments where they say the insecurities that I already have about myself. Those are the ones that are hard. When people just say random stuff, like somebody was like, I see your hair's going gray. I hope you die soon. Like, to me, that's funny. Like, that doesn't hurt at all. But when someone's like, hey, you're way better at freestyling than writing songs, like, I don't think it'll ever work. It's a gimmick. Then it's like, oh, wow, like, that's the kind of stuff that sometimes I wonder about
because
myself.
It plays upon an insecurity you already sort of hold inside of yourself.
Exactly.
Same thing happens to me as well. People fuck with my aesthetic a huge amount.
Right.
And then also, yeah, they'll go like, oh, you're like a fucking shit Russell Brand or something. I go like, I'm not, but there is a part of me that maybe thinks I am because
Exactly.
you know, because you always put yourself down there. You know, it's
Exactly.
such a part of. Do you believe that maybe the process of you becoming an entertainer and doing what you do is
Yeah.
is a desire, a need, a desperation almost for validation, or is it
Yeah.
purely because we can all peddle this? I'm just a creative mind, man. This is what I got to do. I got to put that out. But that's where I think the
Right.
social media bullshit has to be reined in a little bit.
Right.
The Instagram quotes, and instead going,
Right.
where does that come from for you? Where does that desire and that need to be praised and
Yeah.
adored come from?
Man, I mean, I think you're right. I think, like, most of us performers are just insecure and just want somebody to pat us on the back and say good job. That's why we go in front of crowds and do this torturous thing that, like, I get super nervous before I perform. Sometimes I'm like, why do I keep doing this? And I think it's because at the end of the day, I'm hoping the people will applaud for me and I can say, okay, Harry, good job.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that is a big, if I'm being honest, and yeah, I am super creative and I've always been creative and had, that is what excites me. Making music excites me. Even if I'm by myself and no one gets to hear it, it is when I'm having the most fun, as a human on earth. So I do love it, but like, I also
Do
want
you
that
think you
out.
would put as much time and energy into it if it hadn't have been such a successful return for you as well?
I think actually, honestly, I think I would because the thing is, for years and years and years, I wasn't getting that positive feedback. I was just struggling to try to become good. And
Right.
that's the thing is like learning an instrument takes years. My first instrument was violin. The first year you're on the violin, it sounds like you're strangling a cat. The first year, just
Right.
to get a decent sound out of the instrument requires a year's worth of dedication, uphill battle, sounding shitty, and still going on. So, I think that like the challenge of it always intrigued me, and I think possibly even if I wasn't getting the feedback, it would still be what intrigues me the most. I don't know. I'm just a musical person, but it's a great question, and I honestly I'll never know the answer to that. And I do know that I am sort part of me is just seeking validation. Part of me, I think all of us as humans, like we can't ever get outside of our own experience. It's like that brain in the vat thing. It's like we're just it could all be an illusion. We're just experiencing it through our brain. I can't know what it's like to be you. You can't know what it's like to be me. So I think all of us are kind of just reaching out, like, hey, like, do you love me? Is it the same for you? Like, are we in this together? And I think that's without getting weird and philosophical.
No, I want to get weird and philosophical. That's the bit. It's taken us 50 minutes, but this is the depth.
Hell yeah.
I'm just trying to chip away and go like, what drives us? I'm very
Yeah.
interested in the process
Yeah.
of why content creators, why artists make art. Like
Right.
there's part of it, of course, that has come inherently from you, but I was never a stand-up when I was a kid. I was an
Right.
actor. I've always been an actor.
Got
But
it.
then now that I'm very like my success has come from stand-up comedy.
Totally.
I'm not going to lie, there's an element that keeps me
Oh, yeah.
exploring that and developing it, and now it's a part of who I am, but it wasn't originally.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think I can relate to that too. Why am I focusing so much energy on the freestyle component of my artistry specifically? Because that is the part that has gone viral. That's the part that people are like, wow, this guy's an amazing
Yeah.
freestyle. I mean, if I was all about the art and my message, I probably would be willing to hang up the freestyle thing entirely just to write albums. And I'm
Yeah.
not. I love the
But
freestyle.
then also freelance artists, you got to pay rent.
Exactly. That comes into play as well.
That's
You
what
got to give the people what they want so you can get paid.
Absolutely. My dudes, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure sort of meandering down this conversation with you. I wanted to leave a little bit of time so we could do,
Yes.
first of all, plugs for the EP, for any upcoming shows. We'll do that right at the end so people can make sure they check you out. Also, shout out to our sponsor, cbdeeper.com. I should have done this ages ago, but we're enjoying the conversation so much with
Yeah.
Mr. Harry Mack. CB Deeper, finest purveyors of CBD vapes. I know you're worried. You're like, oh no, is vaping not good for you anymore? Check their website. On all of their products, they do extensive lab testing to prove there's no vitamin E, no heavy metals, no pesticides in any of their vapes. They also don't charge you what other companies do. They charge about half the price, and they put 55% CBD in every single one of their 1 gram and half gram vape cartridges. Comes in a wide range of flavors. Check them out, cbdeeper.com. Use code SAVAGE and you'll get 10% off at checkout as well. You can't say fairer than that. All right, Mr. Harry Mack, you got some beans
Yes.
lined up over there.
I got you, bro. You
Okay,
already know.
Chat was listening. Chat has been listening to us. So I got to get them a bit more life back into chat. Let me get some. Let me get a little bit of back in right now. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, here we go. Right. So chat. Let me get some suggestions. If you are watching this live on YouTube or on Facebook, drop some suggestions right now in the chat of subject matters you would love Harry Mack to freestyle about. I'm going to start just throwing words at him. Seth Thompson has very kindly already listed up a whole load here as well, which I'm going to read out to you. But I'd like to get some from other people. Laughing Orgasms, let's get you back in here. Matt Aronson, Jay Schoen, Gumball Shark. Make sure you give me some suggestions. Melly S, Mido. Let me get some suggestions from all of you because I know a load of you are still watching, and I will give them to Harry Mack. All right, man. What do you want to do? What beat do you want to? Let's see.
Here, I'll drop a beat in and then just start throwing me words. Does that work?
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
All right. How's that? Can you hear it?
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah.
All right. All right, hit me.
Here we go. All right, let's kick it off with the Rona.
The Rona?
Yeah, the Rona, as in Corona.
I be the livest, the Rona, abbreviation, it's for the virus. Yeah, you know I be the sickest on the rhyme scene. Matter of fact, I be sicker than the COVID-19.
Hey,
yo, I'm about to make the land shake. Right now we sick, so we don't allow handshakes.
Love.
Yo, government mandate. Hey, yo, I'm about to do it. What was it?
Love.
Yo, check it. I really rise above. I do this music thing, but is it for the love? Because honestly, I'm wondering if I just make creation so people pat me on the back and give me validation. Yeah, off the top, you know they couldn't stop it, though. Me and my man Jeff is getting philosophical.
Lockdown.
Yo, I'm a rock sounds. I got the whole game on lockdown. Off of the top, I will explore the scene. I got these corny rappers up on quarantine. Yo, they can't even come outside the house. Got the game locked down with the lyrics out my mouth.
Oregon.
Yeah, shout to everyone that be supporting him. Coming out of Oregon. If you step to me, you out of luck. You get stuck. I'ma score the touchdown just like the Oregon Ducks. Cause off the top, I be the meanest fellow. Pop up in a football jersey that's green and yellow.
Jeff's foreskin.
Yo, me and Jeff are more kin. I'm rapping about his foreskin. Hey, yo, y'all know that I'm live. But Jeff, I don't really know if you're circumcised. Yeah, because I ain't never seen your dick. When I spit, you know I come through with the meanest shit.
Receding hairlines.
The rare rhyme. Spit till I got receding hairline. Yo, I just say what I say. I got a full head of hair, but I am going gray. And when I'm on it, yo, these rappers don't move me. Pretty soon I'll be all gray like the rap George Clooney.
Global warming.
Yo, I'm storming. When I'm performing, I might be causing global warming because I melt the atmosphere. Yes, my flow's prone to go in the air and put a hole up in the ozone. Harry Mack, you know he flows true. Am I really spitting air or is it CO2? Yeah, I told you when I'm off the top, I be like Jesus. I'm trying to save the environment driving in a Prius.
Hey, Netflix.
Yo, y'all can sweat this. Trying to get a series up on Netflix. Because when it comes to rhymes, I go really hard. Someone at Netflix needs to call and buy Gorilla bars. Matter of fact, yo, I'm ill when I spit. I don't want them to buy it. I need to have a fair split.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I'ma hurt you. I'm a classic on the mic like the Ninja Turtles. Yeah, when I do it, man, I really go the hardest. As a kid, I didn't know they were named after artists. Later on, I realized those Ninja Turtle dudes were named after the artists who have paintings in the Louvre. Mac, yo, I do it. I'm the freshest on the scene.
CBD vapes.
Yeah, hey, yo, I'm really about to transcend. I transition from weed to talking about CBD pens. Hey, yo, there's nothing they can tell me. He's sponsored by the CBD pens that's most healthy.
Hey!
Might have to buy one for real, yo, I'm on ya. Rapping about CBD marijuana. I had to plug the sponsors, so maybe I'll get paid. It's Harry Mack, you know my freestyle.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, I never been a stranger. As a kid, y'all know I was watching Power Rangers. Yeah, hey yo, my lyrics never going soft. At the end of every episode, they would battle the boss. Yo, check it.
Shot glass.
Yo, hey, yo, all right, check it. Yo, I be flipping it off at the tip of the brain whenever I'm spitting, I talk fast. All of these rappers, they getting so twisted like they're taking shots out of shot glass.
Hey!
You know I'm rhyming like what? I go to the bar, I need some shots, we lining them up. I take the shot to Jack or the shot to gin. I keep on drinking till I'm running out of oxygen. Hey, yo, my beat starts fading. Now it's going quiet. Rappers want to step to Harry Mack, they shouldn't try it.
Hey! Wait, let me get some... There we go, man. Wow, Harry, that was fucking beautiful, dude. Thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. Thank you for making an hour of actual intelligent and talented content on this 12-hour stream.
Oh, man, my pleasure, bro. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
It's been absolute lunacy the rest of the time, and you brought some wonderful cohesion to it with your amazing freestyle raps and your wonderful conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, check him out. It's at Harry Mack on all social media. Make sure you find him on Instagram. Make sure you find him on Twitter. Give him a follow. Make sure you check out where his live show is going to be at on YouTube. Tell us the YouTube channel.
Yeah, youtube.com/Harry Mack, M-A-C-K. Don't forget the K. And yeah, man, Gorilla Bars every 2 weeks and Wordplay Wednesday every Wednesday. Tap in live, throw your words in the chat. I'll throw them in the raps.
And also the EP that is currently out right now is called?
Yes, sir. Contents Under Pressure, available on all streaming platforms.
There you go. Make sure you buy it. Go out there and buy it. Don't just play it on Spotify. Go and buy the album. There you go. Give this man some support. And also, if people want to find out where you're performing live outside of the social media, if they just want to use a website.
Oh, harrymackofficial.com.
There you go. harrymackofficial.com is a site you want. Thank you so much for joining us, man. You're an absolute legend.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, you too. Peace.
Bye.